Hello, hi, good afternoon. My name is Asika. It's a real pleasure to be here today at the Nigerian Tech Summit and to offer some comments towards how the creative industries can leverage technology to grow during the pandemic or post-pandemic as well. I just like to say a couple of things. I think one of the things I'd like to say is to connect the Afrobeats movement to the technology movement. I think a lot of the people of the technology space were inspired and affected by the Afrobeats movement over the last 15 years, not just by the music, but by the attitude, the personality, the confidence that that music and that movement unlocked in young Nigerians and Nigerians of all ages as well, to see that there was value in them, that people love the personality, people love the attitude, and people want to connect to them. I think these are things that validate us and enabled us to see us, and when we see us, we begin to do better. So I think Afrobeats is already a part of the technology community, and you can see that with people like Mr. Easy, people like the band with this Cream platform, and of course, all of us have been on using YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and all these tools for well over 10 years now, I guess. So yes, technology is critical to everything everyone does, both for distribution. It has solved the distribution issue. It has not solved the piracy issue, but it has solved the distribution issue. So in Africa, monetization still remains a major problem for all of us. But one of the other things that we haven't done is to create products and merchandise. And I think this is a real opportunity that we have with technology to create digital merchandise, NFTs, and use domestic platforms to scale. Because our biggest market, our biggest opportunity is still Nigeria. Yes, it's great to have a global footprint and a global view, but when you have 200 million people with an average age of 17 in your own country who love what you do and are first of all looking for you, you'd be remiss not to engage them first. And I think that's an absolute priority that every Nigerian engages, and all the foreign businesses that come to Nigeria, everybody's coming here for the same reason. They're not coming here for holidays right now because we haven't yet built ourselves into the wonderful tourist destination that we should be, because we are one of the most beautiful countries on earth. So for me, what are the things we should be doing? The first thing we need to be doing is collaborating. Who should we be collaborating with? We need to collaborate with the young Nigerians with the technical skills, the developers and the coders who can help us build the solutions and the platforms that will help us to drive the future and to own and monetize our own platforms. That's number one. Number two, yes, we have to always work with the global majors and work with them because they've got the leverage and the capital to enable what we do. The truth of the matter is there's very little patient capital on the continent. There are very little risk takers on the continent. Most of the FDI we see coming into the tech sector is coming in from outside the continent. The few players who are investing locally, we know them very well. We love what they're doing. But again, it's not yet enough. We need to see much more happening. We need to see the state governments and the federal government really pushing that ecosystem. But one of the best things that's already happened is this week you all will have heard the Nigerian Startup Bill was passed by the Federal Executive Council on Wednesday, which is a huge step forward for Nigeria. I can't wait to see what happens when we get that through the process. I'm privileged to be part of the internal advisory group that's driving that on the private sector side, but I'm quite silent there. I mean, the guys who are doing the heavy lifting have really done incredible work, but we're mimicking that work immediately, and also going to try to drive a similar bill for the Nigerian creative industries. I spent the last year and a half leading a team of about 30 academics, researchers, and practitioners in the creative industries to write a strategic plan for the next 25 years for Nigeria in this sector. One of the things we could see is that the Nigerian creative industries by 2030, with or without the support of government, really will be about $100 billion per annum economy. And this is significant. The issue is, how can we enable this? How can we make it bigger? How can we make it stronger? How can we translate this to jobs and formalize these industries? I think this is all about value creation. It's all about understanding that our real value in Nigeria is our IP, our human capacity. The natural resources we have are great, but our mineral resources and natural resources are finite, whereas our human resources are infinite. They will never finish, just like our stories will never finish. The world has only scratched the surface of the African narrative, let alone the Nigerian narrative, which in itself, with 500 ethnicities and 300 languages, our cultural We have more cultural festivals than I'm sure any country in the world. The world has hardly even understood Nigeria, and we've yet even told the world our story. So I believe with platforms such as YouTube, such as Instagram, such as Facebook, as we build more domestic versions of these same things and make our content available to more people, use more distribution, and we can create merchandise and product. We can turn our old markets into digital platforms. Aba, Onitsha, Computer Village, Kano, Ikeja, Ibadan, all of these places are huge economic centers of activity, but we do not have a connection between the talent and the product. You know, you can't expect WizKid to be designing his own merchandise, but he needs to have a trusted supplier and manufacturer who'll do it at the right quality price, and he'll be able to make his money and get his royalty. We need to have this kind of transparency. I think that I'm very, very excited about NFTs and the whole concepts of the smart contracts and that transparency that enables. I think all of us in the creative space have to engage that. We have to engage this. We have to engage each other, especially the technology community of Nigeria must engage the creative community of Nigeria. That creative community in Nigeria goes way beyond the musicians, the filmmakers. It goes to the visual artists. It goes to the architects, the software engineers, the guys who are the writers, the poets, the graphic artists, the dancers. The Nigerians and the black people worldwide have invaded all these platforms, and we flip them, we remix them. We do it daily. That's what we do. The question is, how do we do it in such a way that it benefits us? There's the most famous two people in Nollywood, Aki and Popo, who I love. They've been memes for over almost a decade on Twitter and Instagram. And I just wish there was a way they were getting paid for this, where their images are being used billions of times, but they have no compensation. There have to be ways in which we can think through how to find new ways to take care of our own people, to give our own people platforms that they can energize them. We have a situation with the AFTCA now, and with the energy of the NSB and the things that are being driven by CANEX and the AFDB and the Bank of Industry in Nigeria, that there does seem to be a groundswell that everybody seems to have understood that we need to support, invest, and unlock the capacity of Nigerians. That the most important thing about Nigeria is us, is we the people. Not the buildings, not the roads, not the oil, not the gas, the people. And the people of Nigeria are everywhere. They're global, they're in 200 countries. If you don't know a Nigerian, that's virtually impossible. Yes, I said it. It's virtually impossible. Everybody knows a Nigerian. And the thing about it is, we're all unique, we're all original, we all have our own story, but very, very few of us have told the story. So I think we're coming to the age of the storytelling. We Africans have all the stories. I believe that all mythology, Greco-Roman mythology, the Norwegian, the European, all of it, I believe, is derivative from us, the Africans. Because in all of those stories, if you knew African history, you would know that there's an original version that came from us. I talk all the time about the Orisha, the Yoruba gods, who, frankly, if you know their powers, they make the X-Men look like kids. But what's the difference between Shango and Thor? People say it's the same thing if you're Nigerian. Shango is the Yoruba god of thunder. I say Shango is broken Lagos because people are afraid of him because of colonial impact. Thor is north of $20 billion. So the question is, we have to unlock ourselves, remove the mental chains of colonialism, embrace our true essence, and tell our original stories. And the platforms are there, the technology is there, we have the skills. So what we have to do is to free our minds and bring it all together. Somebody said something to me. The best way he explained NFTs to me, he said, Obi, NFT delivers to us what we did as Africans in our original form, which is our art is performed. Okay? It doesn't hang on a wall. We live our culture. So when you see a masquerade, what you're seeing is a masquerade performing, they're dancing, They're masked. They're also a spirit. They are also a spirit guide. They are also representation of culture. And all of these things happen at the same time. The dance, the performance, the music, the representation. And that's what the NFT gives you, the opportunity to bring it all together at once. So in reality, what it is there's really nothing new. The ancient is still modern, and we Africans are still the future. So for me, the real opportunity for us on the continent and in Nigeria to drive the future is to fully embrace the technology to enable us to bring our past to the present and to help the whole world to embrace and engage the magic that we make, which we find in our music, our dance, our literature, our poetry, our performance. That is our essence. That is what we bring to the table. It cannot be taken from us. And if you embrace us and you engage us, then all of us will do well together. Thank you so much for having me. It's a real privilege to share these thoughts with you. And I look forward to hearing all the outcomes from the session. Thank you.